Hey yo, welcome to Weedy Weekend, number 37, second of the new year and 37th of my time. Hey, I wanted to welcome y'all to it's a Sunday with my son here. Got the door closed so I can do this education show about the news in cannabis for the last week. First, of course, I'm going to have a little something that's totally all right to have, and that is the last of my CBD. This is really needed today. My fibro has gotten to every single joint in my body, especially my fingers and toes. They hurt. I need this. Cheers, people. All that's going to do is take the pain away. Even typing is really painful today, and cooking for my son, and you know, but such is life. I want to welcome y'all, and I want to start with school. We're talking about school. This report comes from High Times online magazine. Schools mull medical marijuana policies over student use. It's a really, really good article, and it is nice to finally see our society opening up and talking about this. There are many, many kids now. It's becoming just so obvious this is a medicine. There is so many kids out there that have epilepsy and other issues that require medical cannabis. These kids right now, because they aren't allowed to take it in school, end up they can only maybe go to school for half a day, and by the time they need to take their medication, they're going to have to go home. So schools are now banding together to try and find what is the best solution to provide and allow these children to still have a full education while not increasing the risk of that medicine getting into the hands of the wrong people. It says right in the article, which of course all articles of Weedy Weekend are in the description below. It says right in here, we already know kids report that drugs are sold and exchanged on school property. That's kind of like, well, duh. We don't want to see this add to that. And although I talked about it yesterday in Is Weed Harmful? We understand that people don't want this stuff to get out recreationally to the children, but they have to realize, first of all, that is a valid concern. But but is it a real concern? What I mean by that is kids and teens who smoke pot recreationally are not the same as those who are sickly and barely ever at school. The clicks. We have to look at reality. These kids in almost most cases wouldn't even know or be able to sell their stuff. Plus, if you're like, I'm a really sick person that needs this. Just now, my fingers are starting to feel better. And after this is done, I'll have a little bit more. I'll be able to go a little bit more if I can scrape it. That's the CBD. And I'll be able to look after my son a little better. But I would never sell my medicine. I'm only allowed X amount per month. And it's never really enough. I've just got my prescription to the right level where it's about right. So if I sold some of mine, I can't buy any more. They have to look at that. The parents who have prescriptions for their kids to have medical cannabis and to take it to school will only have enough for their for their medication. And the ability to sell it would be minuscule, if existent at all. So when we look at things, are they valid concerns? Of course. But are they realities? Maybe not. Then you rank those concerns and deal with the more important ones first. Let's get those kids some medicine. That's the most important concern. Yes, let's make sure regulations are in place that no other kids get that medicine. But let's look at the reality of it. That's not likely to happen. Let's move on to the next story. The next story is about legalization. Vermont wants to legalize. They have already decriminalized a while ago, but they want to legalize. They want to be the first one to do it with a law, a bill. Every other one that has legalized has done it through a referendum. Not sure what difference that will make. I read the story. It doesn't really attack that, but I'll attach it. The more the merrier. We got to free the plant. We have to free the plant. Cheers. Next story. The next story, I have shared MJ Straight Talk before. This is a video from MJ Straight Talk. I'd really like you to watch it. It's all about parenting and how to have those talks with your children. We're especially Canada, but over 50% of the United States has medical marijuana legal now. So it's time that we don't hide this stuff from our children. We need to talk about it, where harm can happen because of it, what myths were behind it, why society is changing now. All of that's attacked in this video, and I think it's really important. If we don't talk to our kids, it's the same thing as sex talks. If we don't talk to our kids, they go out and they find out and they don't get the right information and they make wrong decisions. The more open you are, the better your kids' lives will be. So that's that story. That's a YouTube video. I hope you'll watch. I really enjoy this lady who does these MJ Straight Talks. Really hits some, search out her videos. Really hits some difficult conversations, but makes them easy. The next one is just simply a celebrating of 2-year anniversary of medical marijuana in Colorado. The beginning, the birthplace. Still a long ways to go. I've got a good friend down there who has opened a shop. Lots of regulations he's got to live by and everything like that. Some regulations are good, some are dumb. Life is life. I hope Patrick, Judas Seeds, I hope he'll contribute to the discussion about all of this below. They did say in this article the 2 major points of legalization. Thousands not arrested for marijuana in Colorado. Now think about that. Over the last 2 years, thousands of people who would have been arrested have not been arrested. That's families not broken up. That's lives not shattered. That's people continuing on to provide for their friends, family, or loved ones. Number 2, revenue allocation for important services. Important services are no longer in Colorado lacking of funds. Proper dissemination of the tax money has made Colorado a better place to live in. Can they get better? Yeah. Can we learn from them? Yeah. Can we learn from their rights and their wrongs? Definitely. Definitely. But 2 years legal, starting their number 3. Hopefully soon, Canada following suit. Um, hmm, don't know where I put that. I'll grab it again. Now, that was from Alternate. Next is from High Times again. I got a few from High Times this time. And it's a little talk about the energy efficiency of cannabis, which I find kind of funny because yes, it's a high energy industry that needs lots of lighting, especially to grow indoors. Um, but what this article doesn't attack, I'd sure like y'all to read it. It is interesting, and there's always new technology that decreases the footprint that this plant is making, but this plant isn't making a footprint. Just a minute. The plant isn't making a footprint because what they ignore is that plants breathe in oxygen and push out carbon dioxide, certainly, but hemp and grown properly can decrease that footprint. And they just aren't talking about the other side of the issue, just how much energy it takes to grow it all. But if we can switch to using this plant, not just for its medicine, but hemp is cannabis. Hemp is cannabis. If we could use this plant for building materials, for fuel, for food, its carbon print becomes negative. This doesn't talk about that. This doesn't mention that because our global warming theorists don't want you to know what helps. They only want you to be afraid. Most of us, tokers, don't fall for the fear. Next story, and a fun one. I say is the DEA, D.O.A, dead on arrival. Now a California drug bust has caught a California cop. Over 280 pounds, $2 million worth of marijuana. And they're all boo hoo hoo. This 37-year-old cop is going down. It's so sad to see it happen to a cop. And really, I'm sharing this one because good for the cop. And I hope he has a hard time in jail. Maybe then they'll start understanding how boo hoo hoo for everybody else who has spent time in jail or is still in jail for a plant. I don't go boo hoo hoo for the cop who put most of those people in jail and is finally going to join them. No, DEA, you should be in jail. The amount of families that you've destroyed. I like this one from High Times. We'll move on. And this next one is just second to last story. Welcome to Ganja Yoga. Welcome to Canada. Yeah, I like how Canada is starting to embrace the fact that we're going to become this legalized place. And this is about a yoga class that has opened up where everyone vapes before they do yoga and during and after. And they promote healthiness. Yes, some people say, oh, yoga is all about health, but you're smoking. Get over it. Medicine is about health. And they're vaping. They're not smoking. Everybody has these naysayers have to ignore every single positive aspect that cannabis brings to the industry and find one or two little pieces that hurt and expand on that and ignore the rest. It's a typical way that it just seems to go, and it's wrong. So I really like that. In fact, if my body were nimble enough, I might join Ganja Yoga. And we now move on to the very last one. I raised this Monday. The moment it came out, I've talked about it 2 or 3 times during the week, and I now share the story with all of you, is how the United Nations come forward and said to Canada and to Mexico, you can't legalize till you prove to us that you will live up to 3 treaties that we have worldwide on the international distribution of cannabis. And to that end, they said, and report this by the end of the year. To that end, 1, you're not my mama, UN. You're not my mama. You're not the boss of me. You don't tell your member states what to do. The member states vote on what to do. You are not an overseer. You are not a world government. You want to be, but you can't tell Canada what we can and cannot do. Number 2, probably we already knew we had to comply with these old draconian treaties. We're not a stupid country. We're a lawful country that the moment our prime minister took office, went to his justice minister, the person in charge of the justice system, and said, start working on all the things required to make this legal. That probably included that. But C, UN, have you looked at rethinking your laws on cannabis? Those treaties were signed in the 80s. Oh, further ratified beyond that, but they're old. And they were made during the war on marijuana, which has pretty well been called off everywhere. So, fuck you, UN. It's so much fun to say fuck you, UN. F-U-U-N. And that brings me to the end of Weedy Weekend, and we'll have another one next week. I hope you have a really good week. I hope you enjoyed the stories. I hope you comment, like, share, subscribe. I enjoy bringing this stuff to you. I'll put my GoFundMe on. Anyone that can help, that's just, my channel is monetized, but so far I have made 0. It says I'm going to start making money sometime soon, but who knows? Who knows? I just want to be able to continue to contribute to you. And to those few who think that I spend a lot, especially my ex-wife, on marijuana, I don't. I have people who help me. I have people who subsidize me because they like the product I'm bringing to you, and I have strategic partnerships that keep me in the medicine as cheap as possible, but it's also it's medicine. It's required. Without it, I hurt. I can't do this. That's the end of everything. We're almost 20 minutes in. It is Sunday. It's finally warming up here. It's minus 10 Celsius. Woo! Brisk. Have a good day.